All right. So, like I was saying, my name is Sarah O'Connell, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my story and how I got started in this business as well with you tonight. But you're also going to hear from my friends Katrina and Lysa. And we're just going to share a little bit about how we found it. I'm sure it may be similar to ways that you've heard about this, and just what got us going and why we wanted to give something like this a try. And then we will touch base even on what we do as brand ambassadors and a lot of the perks that come with it. And then just some common fears that we've heard. We've been in for a long time. It's really funny when we talk about that because I always joke. I'm like, one of my things was like, I don't know how long something like this lasts, or, I didn't even have any clue that this could become a career. But here we are, 9 years, 7 years, you're going to hear different things. So it's kind of neat that that's something that I remember I questioned, and I always share that. But go ahead, Lysa, and just start. We're going to start with you. Just share how you found it, why you started, kind of where you were with life, and just what taking this opportunity has done for you.
Okay, hold on. I just gotta rearrange this really quick. Make it a full screen. Okay, so my name is Lysa Alonzo. I have been doing this business for 7 years, which is so crazy to me because I was only going to stick it out a few months to drag out my maternity leave. So the way that this business actually got introduced to me was through a hair client. One of my hair clients invited me to a party that some girl was going to put some wraps on us and tighten our skin. And I had just had 2 kids, so I was like, please sign me up. I will be there. So I showed up and I was obsessed. Like after that first wrap, I was obsessed. Unfortunately, I didn't have the money to buy as many wraps as I wanted. So the girl actually swapped me for a haircut, and she was like, you do hair, the wrap girl. She was like, you do hair, I would love to get a haircut. I'm in dire need of a haircut, and I'll trade you a wrap. And I was like, that's actually perfect. So she came over, I cut her hair, and we had talked here and there, and she kept telling me, like, you should do this. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's just not going to happen. She was like, even if you just do it just to be able to get your product for free, I'm like, I just don't have the time. Like, I have 2 kids, 3 and under. I'm going to go back to work eventually. I just do not have the time. So one night, I'll never forget, my daughter was sick, and I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning breastfeeding her. And I was just thinking to myself, like, in a few hours, I would have to wake up and go to work because I was already on the verge of having to go back to work for my maternity leave. And I did hair for a living. So if we don't get paid maternity leave. Like if we're not behind the chair, we're not making money. So I was already coming to the end of it, and I was like, that is just miserable. Like the thought of having to pump on my lunch breaks and store breast milk in the work fridge before so I could take it home and feed it to her in a bottle, like it just sounded awful to me. So, and then too, I was like, I would have to leave her with the sitter. She would be sick, not feeling good. I would be exhausted because I'd be up all the time with her. And then I would have to go to work and leave her with the sitter while she was sick, and me having to pump breast milk in the lunchroom. So I don't know what came over me. It's God. I know that it was because I was like dead set against not doing this. But I remember just thinking, like, why the heck? Why not? Why the hell not? And I remember my sponsor, who had just joined a few months before me, had made a post about bringing her husband home from his second job. He was working 2 jobs to support their family. So every night he was going to sell pizzas, and she was making enough money doing this business that he could quit the second job at not Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, and not have to sell pizzas at night. And I was like, if I could make just a little bit more to be able to drag out my maternity leave, at least until I'm done breastfeeding, why the heck not? So 3 o'clock in the morning, I clicked submit, and I was instantly terrified. And I was like, what the heck did I just do? Like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. All the excuses that I had been giving her for 2 months, they all came rushing back. Like, you're not good enough. You've never worked in sales a day in your life. You're never on social media, but like twice a month. You can't do this. You can't do this. And I instantly got scared. And I remember just thinking, like, okay, well, I did it. I owe it to myself to at least give it a try. And it's been 7 years, and I have yet to go back to work. So I'm on a never-ending maternity leave. My daughter is now 8. She does not know a mom that doesn't work from home. Like, she's never known a life where I worked away. So this is just normal life to us. She knows that, mom goes up in her office, she'll be in there for an hour, then she comes out, and we get to do life. We get to do all the things. And I've never had to miss a moment. I never had to pump my breast milk on my lunch break. I never had to miss another birthday. I never had to miss another parent teacher conference. I never had to miss anything. So for the last 7 years I've been home. This has been my full-time gig. In 7 months, I actually surpassed my full-time income that I had working full-time at the salon. And then in 8 months, I surpassed mine and my husband's full-time income combined. So this has been it. We've been able to pay off all of our medical debt, all of our credit card debt. Last week, I literally just sent our last payment for my dream car a year early, which is crazy because I should be still paying my student loans, let alone my car loan. So, even aside from just the monetary stuff, the time, my daughter is 8 and there's not one moment that I missed. I missed so many moments with my son because me and my husband worked opposite schedules. So one of us would always be home with him. And I remember getting a video of Anthony riding his bike for the first time in a video. And it was like a crappy cell phone video. Our son was born in 2008. So like cell phones were not what they are today. Okay. It was like a grainy video. And I remember just crying in the bathroom at the salon, like, I should be there. Like, I want to be there. And I was happy that my husband was home, with him and we didn't have to leave him with a sitter, but I wanted to be there too. And I never had to feel that again, thanks to this business. So that's just a little bit about my story.
I stories never get old to me because I just feel like there's a lot of similarities, but there's also so many differences. And like you said, it's funny when this falls into your lap, you're like, wait a second. And if you are an overthinker, I'm going to tell you, once you start thinking about it and you start thinking of the possibilities, it is so hard to not, like, you can't just move on. So that's the other thing. So you'll see that most of us probably thought about not necessarily doing it, but then you like always keep coming back to it. And then we're just here to share with you what happens when you do take the chance. So Katrina, go ahead and just share the same exact thing, just where you found or you heard about the opportunity, what made you start, and what it's done for you.
All right. Hi, ladies. Lots of beautiful ladies today. This is exciting. So I am in my car again. This is the second time I've done this. I'm sorry. I like plan stuff very close together, and it doesn't always quite land right. But that's one of the things I love about this business is you can work it from anywhere, anytime of the day. I went to a wrap party and I had been seeing the wraps on Facebook and stuff like that. So I went to a wrap party and I am super impulsive. So I don't even know if they asked me to join. I just went to a wrap party. I tried a wrap and then I left and I was a distributor. Like, boom, here I am. I'm a distributor. I didn't realize what I had my hands on, and then I kind of started looking through it, the little box they sent at the time that came with the information about the business. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm a full-time school teacher. So if I could make $200 to $500 extra a month, that would be really, really great. Because, broke teacher is like a real thing. And I've had some moments that I can only say that I wish this business would have found me sooner and that I would have joined it sooner. I have a moment that sticks in my head so heavy. And every month when we get that commission and I fill up my tank, I think of it. And, it was when I was a single mom and my 3 boys were, they were my little men in my house. My oldest son was 12. They were like 12, 10, and 8. And my 12-year-old was always like, Mom, I'll pump your gas. Like he took over pumping my gas and locking my doors. Like it was something he needed to do as now being the man in my house. And we went to the gas station 2 days before payday. And I'm like, just put $10. Like I knew that I had like 20 in the account or less. And I'm like, just put $10. He's like, okay. And then he gets in the car and he's so happy. And he's like, Mom, I put 25. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm literally in the car like I am right now. And I'm crying at a Circle K because my account just overdrafted. And I'm upset with a 12-year-old because he just put too much gas in my car. And I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. I was a hardworking person. I got up and went to work every day, but I couldn't make ends meet. And this was something that is able to fill in that gap. It can go way beyond that gap. And it did that for me. It was real eye-opening when we get a 1099, every year from It Works telling you how much you made. And the year that my 1099 was bigger than my W-2. I mean, I went to school for 6 years to get my master's in special ed, and my 1099 topped my W-2 my first year. That blows my mind. I was trying to make $200 to $500. A lot of people said to me, well, are you going to quit your job? And I could have, in that once I hit that rank, once that money started coming in, I could have. I replaced my income. I matched my income. But I love what I do. And my kids were all in school at this time. And my did end up having a baby, and he was in preschool. And so I was able to go from teaching in the classroom to teaching preschool. And I taught him preschool that year. It was super cool. And just able to spend more time with my kids. What a game changer. What a game changer it's been for me. So, I mean, you can have a goal of $200 to $500, or you can have a goal to match or top your income in anything. Anything is possible. I didn't know that when I joined, and I just love sharing these stories because I think it's important that people know what kind of opportunity they're really thinking about.
Yes. And I love that because you really don't know. And that's the thing. And it's really funny that you start so small. So I think Lysa said 200. Katrina said 200 to 500. When I started, you guys, I was looking for an extra $500. And really the reason why is because we were just in a life change. We just become brand new parents. I was working as a nurse. I worked full time. I did night shift. I did charge. I absolutely loved what I was doing. I was working on our high risk labor and delivery. But you know what? Those babies change you. They make you bold. They make you want more. And I remember I was telling my husband, I'm like, I'm okay going back to work full time, but I used to pick up extra shifts all the time because just like the girls were sharing, like I had school loans, right? I went to nursing school. It's not cheap. And even when you're in and out, it doesn't matter. I still walked out with like 60 grand in nursing loans. And then we also travel because our family doesn't live here. And so I used to pick up extra shifts all the time. A, because I could not wait to pay off my student loans. B, I loved being able to put money into our savings, and I loved that we could go see our family and it not go on a credit card. So, but when I went back to work, I remember coming back home from Kevin and I said to him, I said, oh my gosh, I'm like, can I take back what I said? And he was like, what? And I'm like, no, seriously. But I just told him, I'm like, I'm not working extra anymore, you know, and for us, that meant not that extra money. And you guys, there's always extra shifts, right? Always. But it was such a blessing. And I always say, sometimes when you close one door or you're like, I'm vowing to not do this anymore. Maybe it's because you're burnt out. Maybe it's just because you need different change. Maybe it's because you have to allocate that time somewhere else. It's funny how a new door opens. And so I saw about a month after that, I saw a friend posting about these products. And honestly, as a brand new mom, I was super interested in the products because I was like, you know what? There's sometimes I look at the clock and it's 3 p.m. Like nutrition, I'm probably not getting everything I need. And I want to be healthy. I want to be my best so I can give my best. And then she talked to me about if I wanted to make extra money. And you guys, it was like this light bulb moment where I'm like, wait a minute, I just said no to extra money here. And now you're offering me to be able to make extra money that I can make from home, holding my little one, along with friends, something different, right? And all I could ever think, you guys, is like, my dad is so that person that works just a bunch of different things. He's always like, even as I'm like growing, you know, at the hospital and I'm, you know, working my way up the ladder, he was like, Sarah, what's your plan B? It drove me insane, you guys. It drove me insane. And I'm like, Dad, I have a great career. And he's like, you should always have a plan B. You never know when life throws curveballs and like, or when you'll want change or any of those things. Well, all of a sudden I wanted that. I just didn't know what that looked like. And I knew I didn't want to say yes to something that would take me away from home. And so here it was, something that was so unlike anything I could ever imagine. But you guys, when you look at your little checklist, like it hit everything. It wasn't going to take me away from home. There was no limits. It was fun. There were great perks with it. And finally I was like, you know what? I spent $99 on a lot of things that have zero return on them. Like, I'm just going to try to go for this. And so I did. I didn't think about it too long. And I remember that first month I made what my goal was and more. And we'll talk about that you have multiple ways to get paid, but that was super cool, is having those extra paydays, you know, outside of my nursing job. And so I just remember thinking like, holy cow, this is more than I ever could imagine. My goal was $500 extra a month in a year. And I just made that and more in a month. And so from there, you guys, it's exciting. Like you want to share it. And all I did was share just that. And I realized really quickly that there were a whole lot of other people looking for the exact same thing with the freedom and flexibility to do it on their time. And so just even that, like, I was able to not only not pick up an extra shift ever again, but I also was able to back down to part-time when we needed it without it doing anything financially to us. And in a year and a half, I surpassed my nursing income, which is crazy because I went to school for that. Like you like, you're like, I did what I was supposed to do. And then here I randomly took a chance for $99. So now I get to do this full time, and I've done this for 9 years. It is so stinking fun. So what do we do? Like, what do we do to make that $200, $300, $500 extra? Let's just touch really quick on that. So honestly, you guys, it is no different than when you share your favorite restaurant, or you share maybe your favorite sale that's going on, or whatever it is. That is what we do with all the plant-based products that are available on our website. And there's 40 plus products. The one thing I've always loved is it's not just weight loss. So many times people think it's just this or that. Really, it's not. There are products for everybody. There's products for men. There's products for women. There's products for, younger people. And then as people age, there's all different stuff. So there's beauty products, there's skincare. Some of you are, if we have coffee drinkers on here, just put a 1 in the chat. We have fat burning coffee that we are like, so many of us are obsessed with. And if you aren't a coffee drinker, or you're like, hey, I am not like a caffeine person, there's tea, there's things to help you sleep better, things to help with better energy, but not the jitters. Like, there's just so many different products. And I think the thing that we all love the most is that they're clean products, and they are, the price range on them is perfect. And so that's another cool thing, is that we get to share our discount. So we are one company that actually allows our customers to get our brand ambassador discount. So our customers are like, yes, yes. And the customer program is great. It's super convenient. They're able to change everything up, and your customer just orders on your website. So there's no delivering, there's no having a ton of inventory. Actually, they ship everything out for you. So they do that stuff. They do the busy work for you. All you get to do is you get to share and have fun with it. And how you do that is up to you. A lot of people use social media because the times, you can hear my little one, because of the times. But you also, as people were talking about, Lysa went to a party, or, Katrina was at a party, or whatever it is. There's a lot of times we do little fun things like that too. So that is also just something that's completely up to you and what you want to do with it, with the time that you have. So the other thing is that we get to share, just like we are tonight, the opportunity to be able to make that income from home. And whatever, everybody's always just looking for different things. And I promise you, you may start here, but you are going to grow into something like that. You're like, I don't even know how this happened, right? Your vision, your confidence. There's so many things that come with the community that you get to work with, but you also get to share the opportunity. And that is something that I remember when I started. I'm like, well, who's going to be my customers? Or I don't know who's going to be on my team. Honestly, you guys, I also didn't care. Like, I knew that I was going to have to figure out a lot of things because this was brand new for me, and that was going to be one thing. But I am here to tell you, I'm here 9 years later, and I still have new customers, and I still have brand new people that are looking to make extra income from home. And that is just part of it, right? Things are expensive. Also, I think knowing that people want that flexibility. I always say this so many times. Sometimes you have a career where you have the finances, but you don't have the flexibility, right? You're like glued. You have to be working super hard at your job that you're at. And then sometimes you sacrifice the finances so you have the flexibility. I think one thing that we can all agree on is that here you're able to have both. And that's a game changer for a lot of us. So we also get paid multiple ways. You can get paid daily. You can get paid weekly bonuses. I love the weekly bonuses. I remember when I started, between the sample cash that you can make and then the weekly bonuses, I forgot that we even got paid a monthly commission, but you do get paid a monthly commission as well. And so your pay is based off your efforts, and that is something that you get to choose for yourself. And again, I love that there's nothing like, oh, you have to do this or you have to do this. It's actually, you get to do what you want to do. And on top of that, we also have bonuses. So right now, for anybody getting started, you get your little kit and you can get your samples, but you also are eligible for big bonuses. And the girls didn't talk about that, but they've also earned those bonuses. And I'm just here to tell you that, you know what, I started when there was bonuses offered too. And that's not even why I started. But it was crazy because I always thought to myself, like, oh, are those bonuses that sit there and nobody can get? But 3 months in, I earned a $10,000 bonus. I actually earned the bonus that they were offering. And then following that, So did this person on my team. So did this person on my team. Like those bonuses are honestly there for you to grab. So that's also something that was just really neat. Like Katrina was talking about, when you're talking about filling gaps, I was never going to be offered bonuses for hard work at my nursing job. That's just not something that came with that. And that's okay. But what's so cool is that adding this in, I didn't have to change anything up. All I did was added this in, and those empty gaps that maybe my career was never going to touch were starting to be filled by this. So Lysa, just go ahead and touch a little bit. We want to address fears because we know that nobody starts fearless. And truthfully, you guys, if it's not one fear, I promise another one comes forward. Even when you've been in this for 9 years, right? You're always working through that, but you have a girl gang behind you that's like, you got this. So Lysa, just go ahead and touch on some of the common ones that we've heard over and over through the years that we've done this business and we've helped other people start their business.
Okay, so I feel like every single fear that I started with is identical to every single fear that people give me on a day-to-day basis. And I also feel like that kind of gives me an advantage because I'm like, listen, I know exactly what you're feeling. I felt that for months and I let it hold me back. But I promise you, once you get in, all those fears kind of trickle away because you realize. And I remember her telling me, like, you're not going to be alone. Like, you don't have to know what you're doing because I know what I'm doing. And she didn't know what she was doing. But I was like, yeah, I don't know if I believe that. But now I say the same thing because it's literally the truth. So I remember thinking, like, I've never done anything like this. And she's like, it's okay because I've been doing this for 8 months. So we're good. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know about that. I've never done sales. It doesn't matter. I've never done sales either. I'm like, yeah, but then so like, how are you so good at this if you've never done sales? And she's like, I don't know. Like they just told me what to do and I'm doing it. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. And the time thing, I'm like, I don't have enough time. I have 2 kids, 3 and under. I'm breastfeeding. Like time is not something that I have a lot of. And now years later, I can tell you out of the hundreds of people who have joined my team, not one person has joined because they have so much time they don't know what else to do with it. It's literally the number one thing that everybody struggles with is them not thinking they have enough time. And one thing that I always tell whoever I'm talking to do is to go into their phone and to go into their screen time. And if you have 15 minutes spent every day, either on Netflix or on YouTube or shopping or Instagram or Facebook, if you have 15 minutes or more, you have more than enough time to do this business. We have all literally worked this business in 15-week increment time limits all the way to 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. It's not like we sit down and I feel like too, people think like, oh, well, you do this full time. Like you literally just get to do it all day long. But no, like I'm still a wife. I'm still a mom. I mean, last year, all of us were teachers. So that's definitely not the case. I feel like I just got really good at knowing what I had to do and dictating my time and telling it to go there. Because I'm going to be honest, even when you're home full time, you never feel like you have an abundance of time. Like you never feel like you just have all the time in the world. I still go to bed every night and like, dang, today flew by. And I feel like that's just life, right? We always will feel like that. But if you have an extra 15 minutes, an extra 30 minutes, you can work this business. I work this business very part-time all the way up until I made enough to surpass not only my income, but my husband's income. It wasn't until I started getting to the next rank, our VIP level, that I had to actually start working a little bit more. But even then, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, I have worked a hell of a lot harder and a hell of a lot longer for a hell of a lot less money. And I'm just being dead serious. And like Sarah said, like Katrina said, like she's in the car. I can't tell you how much of my paycheck was built in my car, in school pickup lines, or in the grocery store because Olivia was sleeping in the back seat and I didn't want to get out to wake her up. So I just wait the hour there before she woke up and I could knock out so much stuff. Like this business is built in the nooks and crannies of your day, in that 30-minute nap that your kids are taking, or, the 30 minutes before you have to wake them up to get ready for school, or the school pickup line, or at sports games. If you're taking your kids to and from sports, especially if you live here in Phoenix, we sit in the car because it's not happening. it could be 7 p.m. and it's still hot outside. So like, you don't have to have all the time in the world. Not a single one of us had all the time in the world. We had no time, actually. And I feel like too, a lot of people that come to me do this because they want to either A, cut back on working full time, or B, quit their second job, be it Uber Eats or be it, delivering pizzas or whatever it may be. They want to stop that and have that time dedicated to being at home or traveling or whatever it is that they do. It's not that they have an abundance of time, it's that they need more time. And that's something that, regardless of how many shifts I picked up at the salon, I was never going to get more time. I was actually going to lose more time because in order to pick up shifts, I have to be there more often. So I feel like in this business, it's so crazy because you don't have to choose. And I feel like that was something that I was never given the choice of. If you want to make more money, you have to be here. If you want overtime, you have to be here. You can't pull in an overtime shift from the comfort of your home. Like, that just didn't exist. But here with this business, you can, which is so crazy. Like, even Sarah, we talk about this all the time, where we're like, I'm redecorating my downstairs and she's redecorating her master. And she's like, these pendant lights are crazy. Like, I don't know if I want to spend $380, but you know what? I'm gonna hustle some coffee cash and I'm gonna just push myself and try and pay for them with sample cash. And like, you can't do that. Sarah can't be like, if I deliver 5 babies today, like, can I get a $500 bonus? Like, it just doesn't work like that. If I do, 10 foils instead of 5, can I get a $500 bonus? Like, no, the only thing I ever got for having top sales was a $25 gas gift card. And I was like, through the roof. But this business just gives you so many different opportunities to be able to do things that, traditional jobs, at least every single traditional job that I ever worked in, doesn't allow you to do.
Yes, I absolutely love all of that. And then, Katrina, are you still here?
Yeah.
She is. Okay. No, and the thing is I always tell, most people will tell you they did not start without any fears or doubts or anything like that. But it's crazy once you commit and you're like, I'm doing it no matter what. It's funny how that doubt becomes excitement. And I think that's one thing I remembered. I could have had a laundry list of stuff of why it wasn't a good time, why my plate was full, or any of those things. But I say all the time, I'm like, we cannot be too busy to live the life that we want because we only have one shot, right? So anyways, I just want to put that in there. Go ahead, Katrina.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like I was too busy. In my mind, I'm like, can you guys hear me? Because it's on CarPlay now. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm like tapping this whole car life of mine, right? So, I was like, I'm just too busy. I have kids and a full-time job and I'm a single mom. But those kids in my back seat, they needed me to do more. They needed me to figure out a way to stop crying at the gas station. And so instead of using them as the excuse as to why I couldn't do this and why I couldn't take something on, they really care. Everything was them. Every party that I went to, every event that I worked, every sale that I made, every bonus that I earned, it just made me feel like I was able to do so much more for my kids. And as they got older and they were in high school, my stories always wrap around cars. I don't know what that's about, but I was able to buy them first and we were able to pay cash for those cars and put gas in those cars. Like, I could have used Lysa's card when they were slinging out $25 gas cards because I was like crying at gas stations. So, I would have never not been busy. I'm always busy. I'm still busy. I'm in a Zoom in a parking lot. Like, we're always going to be busy, but at least we're not being broke anymore. So, changes you're busy. You're never going to not be busy. It's never going to be the perfect time, but you fit this in. I could have went and got a second job that was me away from my children. I would have never seen them. I've never relied on a babysitter. They go to home with me. In the summer, I'm home in the evening. They're on and I would have had to leave them somewhere to get a second job. This, I didn't have to leave them anywhere. It just worked out so perfectly. If you're kind of there's no risk. Just take a chance, jump on the opportunity and fit it into your day. It's amazing opportunity. And you can, right now, we throw in coffee. So you join, you become a distributor and we send you out Skinny Brew, which is like our best. I mean, who's not addicted to Skinny Brew right now? And you get to start sampling that. You can sell those samples and make your fee right back. I mean, it is a win-win. We don't carry inventory. We don't have to do all those things that so many other companies and jobs have to do. It's such a blessing. Like, blessing is the word. It is such a blessing. So I hope those of you that are on to take a chance and jump on this opportunity with us, and we can help you get through it together and learn as a team. It's exciting.
Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Just get back to whoever invited you. And I always say, just know that that's such a huge compliment if somebody has invited you on here. Not only do they see something in you, but they want to see this business bless you like we've shared tonight. So I hope you guys have a great evening and we answered some of your questions, and good night.